Start off with the first and foremost. Here we go, man. The real estate RICO is true. I'm gonna be honest with you. And I seen TMZ cover the part of me reacting to this whole real estate RICO shit last time. And I ain't gonna lie, I was laughing at the people who got duped. And the reason why I said they deserve Donkey today, not because I don't feel bad for them. I was just like, yo, why on fucking earth would y'all give this nigga $800,000 for some place in like, if you don't know what Patterson, New Jersey is, nigga, that's like Southside Chicago, okay? It's like somebody bringing you to the slums and saying, give me $1 million, I'm gonna give you 1.3 in 3 months because I'm gonna flip that property. The property not even worth that. However, the nigga was able to scam so many people on, supposedly it was only like 4 properties or so, for $17 million. But don't listen to me. Let's actually play the clip. Here we go, chat.
After we broke the story of investors who say they were scammed in a real estate venture promoted by radio host DJ Envy, there is a major development.
DJ Envy's longtime business partner has been arrested by federal agents in New Jersey. Cesar Piña has been charged with fraud. Investigative reporter Sarah Wallace has been all over the story. She has the latest from federal court in Newark.
Cesar Piña arrested by the feds this morning on a charge of wire fraud and brought here to the federal courthouse in Newark. They say this may be just the beginning. He could face additional charges of money laundering.
You might know him on Instagram as Flippin' NJ, my friend Cesar Piña.
DJ Envy often had his pal, Cesar Piña, on the radio hosts The
Dude kind of look bad when he says, my friend.
Breakfast Club show.
Started with no money, and here I am, $50 million later in real estate.
Promoting their real estate partnership. Now, in this federal complaint, the government says Piña engaged in a Ponzi-like scheme involving investors, adding Piña defrauded dozens of victims of millions of dollars. We interviewed many of them.
I lost $200,000.
$835,000. Bro, you can tell sometimes niggas wear suits for no reason, man. Like what? Yo, if you even see how the nigga Cesar Piña dressed, bro, you should know not to give that nigga more than $10, bro. That nigga should be panhandling. How did y'all give him this much money?
In total, I lost a total of $64,000. I lost $1 million.
Envy, whose real name is Rashawn Casey, was not charged, but many of the alleged victims say they were influenced by his celebrity.
He's advertising this all over the radio and on television.
Investors say Piña promised he would rehab and flip distressed properties, many in Patterson, giving a 30% profit within months. Dozens have now filed lawsuits saying they never got any of their investment back. Piña is accused of pocketing $17 million from just 4.
That's a good finesse. That's a good finesse.
4 properties. As news broke of his arrest, we were interviewing Jeff Robinson, who owns a food truck and car wash in Patterson.
My son was my world, and these people took advantage.
His son, Jeff Jr., tragically died in a car accident 6 months ago, leaving 2 children behind. Jeff Jr. had invested $325,000 with Piña in this Passaic property.
Oh, I ain't gonna lie. This nigga gotta go to jail. This nigga gotta go to jail. Holy. I was laughing at first, but this nigga gotta go to jail, bro. Holy. Damn.
The dad says Piña then went dark.
After I buried my son, I called Cesar. Oh, bro, I'm going to meet you. I have text correspondence with Cesar, text messages. Oh, I'm running a little behind. He never met me here. But my main concern is getting what's due to those children. It's not fair. The comfort would be when my grandkids are in position when they have trust accounts with that money that he owes those children.
Piña pleaded not guilty. He has to post a $1 million bond and is being released on electronic monitoring. He cannot leave the state of New Jersey. No.
I don't know if that last guy who was talking about his son was making a pun. But is it Shakespeare or something like that? You know that saying like, yo, what's due on the Caesar, give to Caesar. That's like some shit. I think you ever heard that term? What's due to Caesar, give to Caesar. Whatever.
No comment from DJ Envy. An inside source tells us that the iHeartRadio offices were visited by the feds who took out electronic equipment as part of this investigation. From Newark, Sarah Wallace, News 4 New York.
Oh, hell nah. They done raided the Breakfast Club, snatched the bagels, the French toast, the waffles. They done took everything up out of the Breakfast Club. An inside source told me that, you know that little mold of like Charlemagne's ass that Envy got? I heard they took that shit too. Real talk. They took everything up in that bitch. God damn. Now, again, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm gonna play the what's his name? Spencer Cornelia. Salute to that guy. He been covering this shit too. Here's the thing. So the first indictment came down, and it's a federal indictment. Cesar Piña is charged, and I think there's many more charges to come, and this is not it. They got him for wire fraud. Usually when these type of things unfold, the easiest thing to get people for is just the fact that you were doing some funny shit with money. Now, some of the actual fraud that he did, right? Like, you know what I mean? There's other charges that could be associated with that, but they just hit him with the main shit already, which is basically, wire fraud, which means like pretty much you took people's money and either lied to them or you did it or people sent you money or you sent other people money and you did it in a fraudulent way, right? So there's many more charges to come. We don't know if, and I see a lot of people asking, is DJ Envy cooked? Is DJ Envy going to be charged? I have no idea, right? But it doesn't mean because he hasn't been charged now, he won't be charged. Or it doesn't mean that he might not get a separate charge, even if him and Cesar isn't necessarily co-defendants. Now, if you're going to ask me what probably happened, the feds probably already talked to Envy. And the feds probably said to Envy, check this out. You're proclaiming that you really had no idea, but you're going to have all the information we need to convict him. So I'm going to assume, unless Envy is, charged, I'm going to assume that Envy probably, and again, I don't use the word cooperating because I don't know if Envy thinks he's a gangster or some shit like that, but me, I'll be like all the way on the cooperation list. I would think he cooperated. Like, you know what I mean? Hey, and cooperation just might mean, hey, I'll give you the information of whatever dealings that I know that could further your investigation in actually charging and incarcerating this guy. All right? So that's what I'm thinking initially. Now, the second thing I'm thinking is that them grading iHeartMedia also means they're probably investigated DJ Envy as well. Now, what they're probably going there for is mainly all audio or video, even maybe things that have been said that were recorded but not aired, right? Like, for example, Cesar goes there. Usually sometimes all these mics are hot all the time, even if they edit it out. They want to see if Envy said something to Cesar or Cesar said something that wasn't aired. They want to see if that shit could probably be used. That's what I'm thinking is happening. But it also kind of makes me think that Envy is not all the way in the clear. Now, we'll see if Envy gets charged. By the way, he consistently has said he got nothing to do with this, and he's also a victim himself, okay? Now, I'm going to be honest with you. He's in a very tough position, and even though I particularly would want him to just jump out and be like, yo, check this out, right? I want him to say, this nigga's a scammer. I didn't know he was doing it, and I'm sticking with the victims. He's in an interesting place because some of the victims are directly blaming him. Also, if he comes out and says that, there is going to be further civil proceedings down the line that's probably going to look towards him and say, even if you're not legally liable, right? Like, without a doubt, iHeartMedia and DJ Envy, those are the cash cows in this entire situation. They're going to be getting sued from here till infinity, okay? If you lost your son and your son invested $325,000 and everybody has the same story that the news has interviewed, everybody with the same story. We only invested because we trusted the word of DJ Envy. That is enough for a civil suit and actually enough for possibly mountain civil suits that are going to definitely, you have to include iHeartMedia. iHeartMedia got the big bucks. They're the people that's going to go settle. They're the people really with the bag. Second of all, and this is where, if you ask me my true opinion, I don't think DJ Envy gets charged. I think DJ Envy is going to probably expend, if he ever had one, his get out of jail free card at Power 105 and at iHeartMedia, because he's been so loyal to them. He's also been there for such a long time, even though back in the day he sued them. We'll get into that another time. But the company's probably looking at him currently like, you're getting us into some shit we don't want to be in. And that's usually the place where people like cutting ties. So I do think there probably is conversations like, hey, should we get rid of him? I think they won't. And I think he's not going to go to jail either, because I think they could probably skate by this somehow, even though legally this is going to be a nightmare. This shit's going to be a nightmare, right? Again, the reason why iHeart's going to be brought into it, anything to do with civil, and by the way, a lot of things that's going to come out in discovery or court, whatever the Fed seized, the civil cases are going to piggyback off the criminal case, and they're going to use some of the discovery that the Feds got when they raided Power 105 to build their case for some civil shit. So again, there's going to be a lawsuit to DJ Envy, obviously to Cesar, but I think by the time when the Feds is done with him, he's broke. So he ain't going to have no money to give back. So DJ Envy and iHeart on a civil level are going to be the most exposed, if you ask me. The second thing is going to be this, and I think if DJ Envy gets suspended, if there's any punitive action that gets taken to DJ Envy, it's going to be because of this. The lawsuits are going to be lawsuits, but I do believe that based on what the Breakfast Club did and how they allowed someone who is a flat-out scammer to use their platform, which is governed by FCC laws, because all radio stations, right, FM and AM, are governed under federal law, right? Like this actually is, those airwaves or those frequencies are not owned by a singular company. It's leased. It's owned by the government. So if you now have fraud being disseminated across government frequencies that this particular company leases, you should imagine that it's like, think about like the stock market with the SEC and all type of regulation. Like you could imagine iHeart and Power 105 probably are going to be in the area of breaking a lot of FCC laws, right? Which means you're not supposed to be using the airways for those things. So if you willfully and continually did that for years, I could see huge fines being levied to Power 105, and I don't know how many times homie's been up there, the flipping NJ, the Cesar nigga, been up there to do interviews, nor do I know how many times DJ Envy himself has solicited or advertised, whether it be an expo, whether it be anything to do with this guy, because at this point, everything is scam. I don't care if you were just saying, oh, I was only, promoting the expo. It's all a process of what this Ponzi scheme is built upon. They use the airwaves to amplify the voice, to farm people, to come to an expo, to then solicit investments from, and then scam them. So I believe that Power 105 is going to get hit. Now, when they get hit with these fines, they might look at DJ Envy as an expendable commodity to say, bro, we got to get rid of you. Like, matter of fact, we owe you a few million anyway on your contract. You have broke the contract, and I'm pretty sure if they wanted to get out of a contract with Envy at this point, this would definitely, 100% be like one of those things that it's in everybody's contract. No matter who, like when I was with Spotify, shit, me now with Rumble, you do something that costs this motherfucking company some bread, they could cut the ties immediately. All right, it's over. It's over. We're not paying you no more. Kick rocks. I do think if they're getting hit with fines, lawsuits are mounting, I think they might consider that. I still don't think they let go of him, though. I still don't, but we're still pretty early. I still think they don't let go of him, but it's super early. But we're probably going to see within the next 2 weeks some announcement, if you ask me, from iHeartMedia. It could happen as quick as tomorrow in terms of them saying Envy's taking a leave of absence. Hey, he's taking a week off. Oh, we're gonna he's taking a few days and we're reconsidering whatever. Like, they're gonna address it somehow. But unfortunately, I don't know if Envy kind of saw this happening in the beginning, but this is horrible. This is horrible. Like, you know what I mean? Envy has worked in the radio industry, and I know some of y'all might feel I'm a little biased to him. I like Envy. Envy's a DJ. I always say that DJs are ultimate hustlers, and when I mean hustlers, I don't scammers ain't hustlers to me. Scammers are scammers. Scammers are like a liar and a thief. Don't respect those people. But DJs to me always fill in the gaps of the music business that needs to be filled in. Whether it's media, whether it's, being the interviewer, whether it's you're not just DJing anymore, right? It's a really broad profession. So I've always respected DJ Envy. And Envy's been super rapper rich since I knew him. So again, I want to believe that Envy is not associated with any of these things, because nobody works in the radio industry for 30 years to get to the biggest show on this on that platform in terms of radio. He's on a syndicated show, The Breakfast Club. He worked 30 years to get here to have a fucking scammer kill your career. I can't imagine Envy woke up one day and be like, yeah, I think I'm gonna just go scamming with this guy. So I am in denial a little bit. So if that happens to be true, we'll see. Now, I'm gonna tell you what's probably happening too. They're probably having talks with Cesar as well to probably throw Envy under the bus as well. They're probably trying to already talk to Cesar to say, hey, listen, everything we're getting from Envy, he's not involved. If you tell us how he's involved, he's a more attractive, right? By the way, this whole case came out of the New Jersey, actually the Newark, I think it's the Newark FBI field office. And, speaking with, even speaking with Myron, who used to be a former FBI agent, the feds love attractive cases. They want the big name they could dangle. And yes, the Cesar nigga, while you might know his name and I know his name now, DJ Envy would be way more attractive than Cesar, right? So I'm pretty sure they're probably talking to Cesar to say, if you got something you could give us on him, let us know. But they're probably talking to Envy the same way. Give us some shit on him, right? And maybe, who knows? If you give us enough, maybe you get some sort of immunity or some sort of special deal if we are going to charge you. So I think that's the current situation. I'd be shocked if the weeks, the next few, I'd be shocked if October finishes, nothing happens at the Breakfast Club, Envy's still there and doesn't address, well, he already tried to address it. But I'm talking about the upper echelon management. Nobody addresses stuff. You get what I mean? Usually the feds is what scares a lot of people. No company wants to hear the feds is raiding them, right? Because when the feds is raiding you, they're now going to be looking at so many different things. Like, for example, right? These are some of the things I would imagine the feds would be interested in. Okay, Flippin' NJ, the Cesar dude, who we kind of, at this point, we all feel like he was scamming, right? You know what they're probably going to be doing? Was there any transactions done with iHeartMedia and Flippin' NJ? If you don't know, rarely do most programs like Breakfast Club or like a station like Power 105 would have people pay for interviews. But imagine if Cesar paid for an interview, right? Now, that brings a whole different aspect to it. So you accepted payment, right, or some type of transaction from the guy and allowed him to scam others. You are now in bed with that. You get what I mean? You're breaking a lot of advertising laws. Again, all of this is happening via federally regulated airwaves. So there's a lot of things. If you ask me what they seized, and I was being joking earlier on about taking all of the breakfast shit, I'm saying they probably took all of the recordings, right? And I'm pretty sure they have servers and files and whatever. All of the recordings for the last 2 or 3 years, ever since Cesar came there, they probably have a time period, right? They also took any type of financial records. They might have taken surveillance footage. They probably took all of that to see, and shit, who knows? I'm pretty sure. Well, actually, I'm pretty sure there's probably, actually, I know because I went there. There is surveillance cameras in all these rooms. You know what I mean? It's a big ass studio. So they probably want that because they're like, maybe y'all wouldn't talk about the scamming when the mics are on, but y'all would talk about it in the room. What's gonna capture that? The surveillance camera. So again, I think iHeartMedia is probably shitting bricks, and I don't think they want to be involved in this at all. Envy's in a tough position because as much as he's going to claim he's the victim, a lot of the people who are also the victim are looking at him to say, yeah, of course, Cesar is guilty, but you're guilty too because we did it on behalf of you. And it kind of opens up this bigger conversation. In what is the responsibility of the platforms that you are listening to or you're feeding into and the information that they give you, right? Because obviously, when I heard Envy speak on it, I won't even play what he said, but he basically said, he was trying to do these expos with this guy, but he never took no one's money. Well, that's playing the ignorant card, right? Like, I didn't know he was going to scam. I thought he was going to do this. Is it not his job to find out if you are pushing this aggressively? Keep in mind, Envy's been in videos with this guy multiple times, like a bunch of videos. Apparently also what Tony the Closer was saying is that Envy's listed on one of these companies as a co-founder. So it becomes a little unrealistic if you're like, well, I didn't know what he was doing to bread. So again, I think Envy's in a really tough spot. All right. Again, I don't know the full truth, but I'm kind of watching this, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm glad some shit like this happened because you know what? I always said all these little real estate fix your credit niggas and scammers. Like anytime I hear a nigga be like, yo, he could teach me what to do with my money. I'm like, bitch, nigga, what about your money? Make your money, nigga. You make your money. You don't need to help me, nigga. Make your money, nigga. The fuck you got going on? Anytime you hear a nigga like he just trying to help you, listen, bruh. If it was so easy to make money, man, niggas wouldn't be giving out courses on it. You get what I mean? Like you would really have to fucking go get the information. Anyway, there's a bunch of other stuff that's kind of happening. Actually, let me go to Spencer. Yo, and I'm going to be honest with you. The fallout of all of this is going to be this, right? If Envy, let me see. No. He said this is new video. All right, well, we'll see. All right. Envy's contract with iHeart is going to, matter somewhat, right? Are you going to hear him was he on the show this morning? He probably was, right? Envy's contract with iHeart is going to matter. But also, if Envy is on an account, again, even if he doesn't know about it, right? If if Envy was on an account, hold on, let me see. Why did my nigga Fresh call me? Yo, what up? You live? Yeah, I am, man. Right here, okay? Give me a second. This is the video that Spencer Cornelia made 2 weeks ago. Let's see what it has to say. It's basically saying if Envy's going to prison, okay? By the way, after this plays, we're going to move on off of the Envy topic in a little bit. But let me just play this, and I'm going to read the criminal complaint, and then we will see, all right? Give me 1 second. All right, is this thing going to load? All right, here we go. Let me see. Is this going to load? What the fuck is going on with YouTube today? Hold on. Chat, I'm online, right? Why the hell YouTube is taking forever to load?
The first video I made covering this story went crazy. Many of you are saying Cesar should be in prison. Some of you want DJ Envy in prison too. After releasing the video, it fully hit me how large this Ponzi scheme is. After a few more victims sent me DMs on Instagram stating they lost a combined $700,000 to Cesar, I realized this is far bigger than I imagined. I even interviewed a real estate attorney based in New Jersey to help assist in understanding what's next in this case. Are Cesar, Piña, and DJ Envy going to end up in prison? So far, only civil lawsuits have been filed against Cesar, Piña, and DJ Envy. Why haven't we seen any criminal charges yet?
Well, obviously the government still needs to investigate the case. Before they come forward with charges, they're going to investigate the case in graphic detail. They're going to get as much evidence as they can. They're going to compile it together, and then they're going to move forward guns blazing. They're going to speak to every victim. They're going to speak to attorneys. They're going to gather information. They're going to get all evidence that they have that they can use against them. They're going to have it ready before they move forward with their case.
Unfortunately, it takes time for the federal authorities to gather substantial evidence necessary to win in court, but Cesar's time is coming. Seeing my dreams unfold, nightmares come true, it was time to marry my prison cell, and I said, yeah, I do. Here's DJ Envy daydreaming about being innocent in this Ponzi scheme.
So really, I think the question's going to rely on, did he know that this was a scheme, and did he use his public influence to perpetuate that scheme? That's going to be the question.
In civil lawsuits, everything gets exposed to the public.
Through those lawsuits, there's going to be something called discovery. And discovery is when depositions are conducted, notice to produce documents are sent out, requests for admissions, interrogatories. That's when both sides are trying to compile as much information as possible on exactly what happened. And through the discovery process, people learn things.
I have a theory. I think the reason why Envy hasn't publicly blasted Cesar yet is because he needs Cesar to stay quiet about his involvement. One of the victims just sent me this image. Cesar put all of his Ohio houses in his daughter's name a couple weeks ago on August 9th. Cesar
guilty!
Deleted his Instagram last night, and I've been told he's on the run.
I think right now, a case against Cesar is much more obvious than a case against DJ Envy. Looking at it kind of from a legal point of view vantage point, I think it's going to be a hard case for them to prove that DJ Envy knew about this and was perpetuating it.
DJ Envy claims to have lost a significant amount of money in the Taylor Court Apartments deal and had no knowledge of the scheme. But he also had an office next door to Cesar for years. In the first video, I described how numerous investors came to Cesar's office demanding their payment back. DJ Envy is trying to convince us that he had no idea numerous investors were storming into the office next to his demanding money. And you were still promoting Cesar when your multi-million-dollar project that was supposed to be underway for 3 years looked like this?
If he had no idea, and there is obviously question to that because he was an investor himself and he is owed money by Cesar. I think it's about $500,000, something like that. So I think
that's the interesting thing, chat. So Envy says he was also scammed. So it's like, he says if he's a victim as well, so how could he be the one doing the scamming if he got scammed too?
It furthers his point that he had no clue that this was going on, that he in fact made money from initial investments, and based off that happening, based off making that money, he kind of pushed this idea that you can invest in real estate, flip homes, make money, and people relied on those representations. But in order for him to have accountability here is if he knew about it and continued to push it, if continued to promote him.
Cesar paid Envy early in the scheme so that he would then promote that the investment was legit. It never was, and the signs were pretty obvious. The two victims that just reached out to me both believe that Envy was taking a percentage of the profits. My current position right now is that at some point Envy knew everything wasn't good and still promoted and received a profit, which means he likely has real liability here. Cesar promoted 30% returns in 6 months, which is already a huge red flag. Anyone who knows real estate knows that it actually makes 0 sense for Cesar to offer this. If he was as experienced and legitimate as he claims, he could borrow hard money at 10 to 14% a year. Why give the investors 30% every 6 months if you can borrow for half that over the full year? DJ Envy promoted Cesar for multiple years to millions of people on his radio show and Instagram. He shared the stage with him at seminars. He had a team handling attendees' information to upsell them into investment opportunities at the seminars. Cesar was then promoting investment opportunities to these attendees at an office next door to Envy. Envy is trying to convince us that he lent out his credibility and reputation to a criminal and scammer to millions of people and didn't make $1 off of that? Come on, man. Cesar wants his phone number hidden from the feds right now since they're probably starting to call him. If you want your personal data, phone number, and personal address hidden as well, I have the us. This chart highlights just how many large-scale data breaches there were last year alone. The DOJ recently found these 3
that he was still perpetuating this narrative that make 25, 30, 35% in 5, 6, 7, 8 months, then there's a problem for him.
During discovery of the civil cases and during the inevitable criminal cases for Cesar, we're going to find out when DJ Envy knew that this investment opportunity was not legitimate and what his behavior was after.
What's up, y'all? This is DJ.
Still promoted the opportunity.
It could very well be the same
Flipping NJ.
that Cesar had.
And send us all your money and we gonna make sure you get some properties.
Same crime.
For my teachers that said I wouldn't make it here, I scam a day what you make a year. Might get hit with the RICO. Let's do a quick breakdown of what type of crime Cesar committed. Cesar was acquiring commercial loans on properties and raising money from investors for the same property. Not disclosing that fact to investors is fraud, and taking a loan for renovations and never even renovating the property is mortgage fraud. Receiving money via wire from investors is also a crime. Can you guess which one?
If money was wired into an account that was supposed to be used for an investment, but it wasn't, and the person who sent the money relied on that representation, now you have wire fraud. You know, a lot of people don't know, when you have a wire fraud case, every single wire is a charge. Every single exchange of funds is a charge. That's
damn.
And every charge carries years in prison.
From what I've seen, I'm convinced that Cesar committed over 100 crimes in this scheme. Here's one I didn't even think of before.
It can be as simple as an IRS issue where he took money that was supposed to be invested for a project in
By the way, chat, this guy knows a lot. This guy right here, the reason why everything he's saying, he said this before the charges came down, or the charge came down on Cesar, and he's kind of right. The IRS is involved in the investigation. Everything he's saying is kind of coming to fruition in terms of the crimes that were committed.
Patterson, but then took that money and used it to buy a car or use it to buy a personal item, and he didn't declare that income on his tax return. If he did that one time, okay, you can make the excuse that I didn't know, I wasn't aware that I had to report that. But if the IRS can prove that this was systematic, that he did it over and over again, and he failed to declare income, that's tax evasion. You can go to prison just for that.
The Piñas were still living in their Franklin Lakes mansion this summer despite their first and second mortgages going into default. I would not be surprised if they falsified tax returns to acquire loans for the sole purpose of taking the money. Add another charge to the crime scoreboard. We know that Cesar was signing joint venture agreements with the investors, which left them unprotected.
These situations, these were all, for the most part, unsecured. It was just a joint venture agreement. So it was person investing money with Cesar, okay, his company. That company would use that money to do X, Y, and Z. And in 5 months, 6 months, here's how much you would make back. I think most people just wanted to know, okay, I'm giving you 200 grand. How much are you giving me back? But it's not that simple. Attorneys are trained to think worst case scenario. But I think when people signed these agreements, they thought best case scenario. My best case scenario is I'm going to give this guy 100 grand. He's going to give me back 135. That's 35%. I don't know of anything providing those type of returns right now. I don't know of a single investment. So when he presented these agreements, I think he presented it to them in a way of, look, I have this property. Here's this house. Give me 100 grand. I've done it before. I did it for this person. I did it for DJ Envy. Look how much he made. And they relied on that representation. And that's where you come to the question of fraud. Was this fraud? I'm not saying it was, but that's the question that needs to be.
Clearly fraud. By the way, Luca Brasi, thank you for the 5 pounds. He says, yo, Ack, the Breakfast Club will be hosted by Charlemagne the God and Jason Lee. Envy will have to resign. Tyrese is already in them DMs again, telling his wife, let's pray. Holy, you guys ain't shit. Justin Clark, thank you for the 10. He says, yo, don't worry, Envy. Tyrese will take real good care of your wife while you're gone. By the way, Envy, if you see this, this ain't me reading this. These is my donations. This ain't got nothing to do with me, brother. Don't box me in my mouth. I don't got no sauce with you, brother. Okay? Ruger Red, thank you for the 5. He says, yo, your boy Prime was grinding over what? Al Weezy. What the fuck is that? Prime, like you talking about Aiden Ross's friend? Ernest Nomo. He says, yo, where did Cesar get the money to bond out? That's what. Oh, I should have asked Myron that, because if I think we're all under the belief that, bro, this is a financial crime. We're imagining that they froze your accounts. Where do you get the money? Unless maybe his wife, who's not charged, had maybe a separate account that's only in her name that wasn't connected to none of this, and maybe his wife bailed him out, right? Zay2 Trippy, thank you for the 10. He said, yo, Ack, do you think this is a play from Drake? Hear me out. Oh my God. You think this is a play from Drake, brother? Okay, he said, let me hear you out. He says, he finally gets fed up with Charlemagne. He got mob ties. Mob has Fed ties. Breakfast Club gonna be looking for a new DJ. All right, I see what you did there, but I don't know. Rashad Boy, thank you for the 5. He said, Ack, talk more about the new artist RX Poppy. And who is RX Poppy? I don't know who that is. And RXK Nephew, I don't know who those artists are yet. Lex Parker, thank you for the 5. He said, dudes, especially scammers, do crimes knowing they'll get caught. Us, So I said, is Envy too good to pass a lick up for 17 million? I know dudes who purposely did years for less. So I guess he's trying to say a lot of scammers know that if they scam hard enough, they're probably going to get caught. But even listen to what Myron was saying. If the consequences of the years you're going to spend in jail is like 5 years and you get to make like 15 or 20 million dollars. Chat, let me ask you a question. You're going to get caught and you're going to do 5 years in jail, but you scammed $20 million and the government couldn't find 15 of it. So you got 15 million hidden. So whenever you do your jail time, you're going to come back home to 15 million. Is it worth it? I'm not saying people would just be signing up left and right, but like I think some people might be able to understand that math to be like, well, you know, I still come home with some money. Now, granted, usually it's not supposed to be like that. You're supposed to get tied up in litigation from civil suits that's going to have you bankrupt anyway. Or the feds are supposed to have some type of forfeiture where they're supposed to try to take everything you own. But as you can see what they were mentioning in this video early on, Cesar is moving properties into his kid's name already, which is already kind of like a red flag, which is kind of like, hey, I know this shit's going down.
The answer.
The major mistake that investors made was giving Cesar money without having their money secured by anything. When you flip houses and need money for the purchase and renovation, you acquire a hard money loan. The lenders place a lien on the property, and if you don't pay them back according to the terms of the agreement, they can foreclose on you and recoup their money through the sale of the asset. These investors didn't have a lien on the property, so they didn't actually own anything. It was just a signed piece of paper with Cesar, essentially.
When it's a secure transaction, literally, if you don't get your money back, you can foreclose, you can file an action for specific performance. You can go to the court and say, I lent my money to this investor to rehab this property. He owns the property, but he hasn't rehabbed it. Please force the sale of this property so I can get back my money. Or
By the way, Brian Wade, thank you for the 5. He says, yo, Ack, let's be real, man. The feds have already got at least a conspiracy case on Envy at minimum. They're going to offer him a proffer session and he'll get a 5K one. Target letter already sent. Okay. Brandon Hahn, thank you for the 2. He says, I fear God and the FBI. PT Bullet Boy Gaming, thank you for the 5. He says, man, he got hit with money laundering. Oh, let me see. He got hit with money laundering. What? The fuck? Oh, he got hit with money laundering as well. Drug dealer and scammer. That's why I think the DEA is involved. Cult of Masculine, thank you for the 5. He says, yo, do you think eventually all the crypto scammers like Logan Paul would get caught? If Envy got caught after all this time? That's interesting. Aren't the crypto scammers getting caught like actively already? Derek Gandy, it says, shout to Tony the Scam Dog. And Isosa Osawiyem, he says, accent and regards. Any updates on the Ye album? I'm going to get into that in a little while. Wow. A lot of shit going on. Let's finish this video. Then we're going to go into, I'm going to read quickly through this criminal complaint. Then we'll move on from this Envy thing. Again, fucked up situation.
you can foreclose on the mortgage and have the property go up for a sheriff sale. When it does sell, you'll get back your money then. But that's not what happened here. This was, here's $100,000. Let me know when my 135 is ready. So obviously there's a lot of people that were damaged by this. So now they have to go run to the courthouse and file a lawsuit in something called the Law Division.
I don't know what you heard about me, but my investors can't get $1 out of me. No Cadillacs or investment dollars you won't see. In prison, my ass cheeks are going to CLAP. Cesar is facing numerous civil lawsuits and likely will be facing criminal complaints soon. Now let's discuss how the victims can get paid back.
They could win a couple ways. They could win by technicality if they don't answer discovery or something like that. They could win on summary judgment, basically saying, hey, court, there's no dispute here. If we take everything that we say as fact and you view it in the light most favorable to the defendant, I still win. And the court could issue a summary judgment. Or it can go to trial file and you can get a judgment and the judge can rule in your favor. But all that is, like what I was telling you earlier, it's a piece of paper that says Cesar owes me this much. That's it.
An unfortunate reality for victims in Ponzi schemes like this one is that collecting becomes the next problem. You can have a signed contract with Cesar and be able to win a lawsuit, but if he doesn't have any money, you don't have any money to collect.
Now you have to go collect on that piece of paper. And that's what a lot of people, they don't realize. They think that the judge is going to go out there and turn Cesar upside down and shake him from his pants and the money. No, that's not going to happen.
Not all hope is lost. Given that Cesar does own some of these properties without a mortgage, there is a way to force a sale.
If they can prove the money they invested was going to be used specifically for a property and that property isn't liened or encumbered, they can file a specific performance suit and force the sale of that property. But again, who owns the property? Are there liens? Are there tax liens? We don't know.
Many of these investors likely signed up thinking Cesar owned $50 million in real estate. If things go wrong, he could sell a property and pay the victims back, right? Well, maybe not.
He said, I have $50 million in real estate. But what does that mean? Does he have $50 million in real estate and $70 million?
By the way, Reggae, thank you for the 5 on the Academy page. He says, yo, Ack, what if Envy knew things went bad and stayed silent and allowed others to be scammed by not exposing Cesar? Do you think he'd be charged? That's a good question. I wish Myron was on here. Like, I'll actually keep that if we get Myron back on here. So you're saying him knowing the crime was happening. If I'm taking what Myron said, he said it's about the facilitation. If you allowed it, right, you're probably culpable. I'm not sure if it's you just were silent. Like, for example, just put in the simple terms, if I'm here and I witnessed or I seen something happen, right, or I allowed a crime to go on, but I didn't help it, I mean, there's probably some amendment right that probably protects me from not either speaking out or something of the sort. But I think this is convoluted because Envy is involved in the organization, which means, people's disposition is going to be, we are getting into this scam or Ponzi scheme because of you. So if you did know there was a crime going on and you didn't explicitly speak out or try to stop it, you pretty much, by definition, implicitly allowed it to happen or kind of contributed in some way, right? Failed Town USA, thank you for the 2. He says, yo, somebody's account's now frozen. Are you saying Cesar's account's now frozen? Probably. Okay. All right. Let me finish this video. Sorry, Chad. Only like 2 more minutes left. Or $4
million in mortgages? We don't know. You can have $1 billion in real estate, but if the properties aren't worth more than what you owe on them or more than what the liens are, you could very well be in the negative. So he could have $50 million in real estate, but a $20 million negative net worth.
Since the last video was released, another lawsuit has been filed against Cesar. Ruddy Rodriguez filed a complaint alleging Cesar took $100,000 for the 523 Park Ave property that probably sounds familiar to a lot of you by now. Additionally, 3 new investors reached out to me privately sharing they've lost a combined $700,000 that I haven't reported on. Correction, I just had another 3 reach out to me totaling an additional $2.4 million in losses. It's entirely possible that Cesar's real estate empire was built on investor money in the...
Teddy, thank you for the donation on Streamlabs. He says, Ack, did you see the TMZ story about you? Is it the one where they basically have me laughing? Yeah, I did see the one that... It was my commentary on this. I don't like that story because it kind of makes it seem like I'm just laughing at the victims, which I kind of guess I was. But in reality, I was just thinking like, dog, and maybe this is to blame Envy. Like, bro, I don't, listen, chat. I know some of y'all might love me and fuck with me, but don't love me that enough to go donate your life savings if I said it. Do your due diligence. If I give you any advice, I don't care what advice I give you, please do your due diligence. You have to realize if somebody... for example, like me, in a position that I am or anybody else with some type of notoriety or fame, if I'm telling you something, there might be some type of financial incentive for me. So don't think that it's going to be an upside for you. Do your due diligence. Make sure protect yourself. I don't care how much you love the entertainer, the person that's telling you. Like, yeah, you might trust me in a lot of things, but me telling you how to spend your money, please. And by the way, we actually got a sponsor today, so I'm gonna be doing a sponsorship. Even with that, don't take it as, oh, Ack said it, so it's fact. Please make an educated decision for yourself. Do not just go blindly off shit, okay? And be very skeptical of who's telling you shit. I'm just sorry. So like when I hear about the Envy shit, it's like, I'm like, bro, you would give a nigga $800,000? For what? Like, and have no idea. Nigga, at very least, right? At the very least, if I'm giving Cesar, right, this motherfucking porcupine, $800,000, I'm going to at least get on Zillow. I'm going to go on, say if it's in Jersey, go, or any town that he says he's going to invest your money in, go to the parcel's website or go to the fucking county hall or the town hall and see, and pull up the property parcel for what the investment is going to be on. Okay, let's see the previous owners. Let's see who owns it now. I'm not blindly giving a motherfucker $800,000 to go invest in some property in the hood, and I don't even know who owns the property. We're all hearing the same thing. The nigga was selling people the idea of investing in property or investing in purchasing certain properties. He already owned the properties. So he was just taking people's money. So what it's telling me is that due diligence wasn't done. And even if it was hidden under a certain type of like, okay, maybe it's hidden under a shell company, this and third, I would want to know a little bit more. $800,000 is a lot of fucking money. People get whacked for that type of shit. Matter of fact, fuck it, even if it's $50,000, you just hand somebody $50,000 based on word of mouth. Envy don't DJ that good. Envy, like, I don't care how many times he says, good morning, it's a Breakfast Club DJ. I don't give a fuck what he's saying. My thing is, the reason why I laugh at the investors a bit is because there was a gross, damn, I just spilled some shit on my keyboard. Fuck. Hopefully this ain't break. There was a gross negligence on the behalf of the investors too. Like I wanted to be like, oh yeah, they're not no little kids. These are grown men. If it took you, put it like this, and this is another thing that I get upset about. If it took you a decade to go get $100,000, you should at least take a considerable amount of time for you to hand that money over to somebody else. I'm just being honest. It should take you a considerable amount of time and research and doing your due diligence for you to say, here, take it. The Breakfast Club ain't that funny for you to just give your life savings away. And if you're that gullible to be like anybody who comes on the platform of the entertainers you like, and they start talking about getting your money, if you're that gullible to give them your money that quickly, bro, well, I have to be in the belief that you're gonna lose that money anyway. And if that's the case, it's like I can't help you either way.
In the Ponzi scheme. This is Jenny Tips, Cesar's wife. One of Jenny's close friends is this woman named Teresa Giudice. On March 4th, 2014, Teresa and her husband Joe entered a guilty plea to 41 counts of fraud following a deal struck with federal prosecutors. The couple was accused of engaging in bank, mail, wire, and bankruptcy fraud, which allegedly saw them net over $5 million over a 10-year period. That sounds a little familiar, doesn't it? Their conversations probably go like this. Hey Jenny, has your husband committed more felonies than my husband yet? Haha, girl, my hubby has yours beat by a long shot. Jenny, if you ever need help with navigating prison after committing fraud, I'll be glad to help. Cesar and Jennifer are going to start collecting default judgments with all of the victims lining up. Here's what could happen.
Now, if you do get a judgment, in New Jersey, the process is...
Thank you, bigger bands. How do you let DJ Envy, with all due respect to Envy, I like you, but please don't catch some feelings, I'm sorry. How you let DJ Envy affect your financial decisions? Half the time I'm listening to the Breakfast Club, these niggas can't even read what's on the fucking paper. No disrespect to none of those people up there. I really like them. I appeared on their program and they did amazing. But these niggas could barely read what's on the fucking rumor report. You think I'm giving them $1 million? Fuck no, man. You crazy as hell. Y'all niggas is out of y'all goddamn mind, man. These niggas can't pronounce shit, can't read, and I'm giving, hell no. You bring some nigga who's diabetic on here, the nigga got like a 10X t-shirt thinking it's 2003. The nigga wearing Timbs and the Timbs look like it's squealing. Help me! Like, Jesus Christ. You gave that nigga $800,000. It took you 20 years to get it. You gave it to him in 20 minutes. You might be the dummy. I'm sorry. You might be the dummy. That's why I'm talking about a donkey of the day. I'm sorry. I can't feel too bad for you. Like, come on, bruh. Like, bruh, let me tell you this. If I ain't gonna say I'm beyond getting got, but if you gonna get me, you gonna sound a lot smarter than me. Here's the problem, though, and this is where my sympathy does come in. A lot of times people think your wealth or you having money means you're great with money. That's not the truth. Usually it's the opposite. A lot of these entertainers who have money, it's not because they were great with money, it's because they got money that they ascertained through a certain skill. DJ Envy's a great broadcaster, great DJ. That's how he got his money. Not by being financially literate, brother. That's why a lot of these basketball players go broke. Most of these people that you're thinking like, well, I should listen to, because that's, you know, when you don't have money, that's the thing you're thinking. Well, I should listen to the person with money because they have money. They're going to teach me to be like them. No, half of these niggas with money, they don't know what's going on. You get what I mean? It's the reason why you ask all of them, they got 20 business managers, account managers. They have the biggest firms that's actually monitoring their finances because honestly, they don't know. Only thing they know how to do is spend money and spend money. So again, I'm not listening to, with all due respect, I'm not listening to Gillian Wallow tell me about a goddamn bank account. I'm not listening to them to tell me about a goddamn investment. I don't want to hear motherfucking DJ Envy and Charlamagne tell me about no goddamn investment. I'm not listening to none of y'all niggas. The only thing y'all niggas can tell me about is the streets and hip hop. Y'all can't tell me about no goddamn money. Okay? I'm sorry. No way, no how. Okay? Look like, I'll put it like this too, because I'm not keeping myself exempt. If you got your life savings, listen, I don't care how well you think I speak at times, how much you might think I exude like a high intellect. Don't listen to me, nigga. You listen to me more for who got the best burgers, nigga. Don't listen to me with what your money is. Please, don't listen to me. Don't even listen to me. I'm trying to tell you the facts. Because if you niggas had got scammed for some shit, I told you, I was laughing at y'all too. Like, these dumbass niggas really gave me $17 million? These niggas are stupid. You know what I mean? Like, god damn. What the fuck is up with y'all, man?
You could serve something called an information subpoena. And you could say, hey, defendant, I have a judgment against you. You owe me $1 million. I
don't know why this is a tangent. I don't know why this story is even relevant, but this is funny too. Chat, it's like this. I used to work at a store called what store was it? I used to work at was it Nordstrom? Might have been Nordstrom. No, it's a store called I think it was Nordstrom. Anyway, I'm working at Nordstrom. There was a supervisor. I used to work in the men's section. There was a supervisor that was working there. He's making a decent amount of money. And there was a new employee that kind of got put in the same, same department like me. The person who got put in the same department as me, he was like a plug, right? He was like a plug for, I guess he was selling weed. Like, that's before in Jersey when weed was legal. Weed is legal now, or certain amounts. Anyway, the smart ass, I'm gonna call him Square, supervisor, looks at the employee, right? And I guess he got tired of like, here's this amount of money, bring me back this, blah, blah, blah. On the dumbest, and I don't know weed amounts, so so you tell me how much this is. One day, he looks at the employee, remember, he's a supervisor. He looks at him and says, yo, you think I could get like a bulk order type shit? He basically says he used to give him like $100, $200, right? One day he fucks around and gave a nigga $6,500 to go buy some, like, a lot. I don't know how much $6,500 in weed gets, but it's a lot, okay? You know what happened? The motherfucker, by the way, every single time before, give him $200, bring the weed back. Give him this, bring the weed back. The nigga got $6,500, realized he won't make $6,500 at this job until 3 months. You know what he did? Never showed back up. The fuck? Like, he looked at the money and said, wait, so let me get this straight. You want me to bring back just a lot of weed? You want to buy it wholesale from me when you know I'm working for you for this amount, and for me to get this amount of money, it would take me 3 months. Guy's like, yeah. Okay, I'll be back. Nigga never came back. Nigga never came back, bro. I never knew the story. So I'm like, yo, what happened to so-and-so? Then I finally talked to the nigga and be like, yo, bro, I gave him money. He never came back. And I looked at the supervisor. I said, I knew you was a stupid nigga in position. You just got that supervisor title because you work here long, nigga. It's not because you're smart. But yeah, come on, dog. All right. Anyway, let me finish this fucking video. I know
need
people
to
say we saw Envy.
Where are your bank accounts? How many cars do you have? Do you own any jewelry? I need a list of all the real estate that you own, any companies that you have a holding in, all this financial information. Most defendants either ignore it or they don't want to answer it, or they answer it incorrectly, or they answer it incomplete. If that happens, the plaintiffs could actually file a request for the defendant's arrest. If that warrant is signed by a judge in a civil court, they're not going to go and issue an arrest warrant and go to his house and arrest him. But if he's pulled over and he's flagged to have a warrant under failure to respond to an information subpoena, they could arrest him. And again, these aren't criminal charges, but force him to answer that subpoena.
Cesar appears to be avoiding the civil lawsuits. I asked Peter if he could do this.
Civilly, of course. You could let it all go into default, get all these judgments, and then go file bankruptcy.
Cesar spent years
on some 50 Cent shit,
claiming to be a real estate mogul, but now that it's time to pay his debts, he went ghost. We know he owns properties, so hopefully these will be forced sales and money goes to the victims.
I'm not a bankruptcy attorney, but I know from experience through real estate litigation, there is a nuance with bankruptcy where if the debt that you owe was a result of a fraud, meaning you took on that debt knowing that you might file bankruptcy or knowing you couldn't pay off that debt, it could become non-dischargeable in bankruptcy.
All of this is the least of Cesar and Jenny's worries. The feds are surely investigating by now, which means it's almost over for them. This is clearly a fraud scheme, and they'll have no problem building a strong case against them. And when Cesar gets out of prison, the only job available to him will be dog walking.
And now Cesar and I own over 2,000 properties worth probably around $100 million.
If they do, time to sell and pay off the victims. If you didn't own that much, then you committed false advertising fraud. If you raised money from investors based on claims that you owned $100 million in real estate, and you didn't, and then Cesar and Envy took the money and ran, you deserve prison time. Shout out to Tony the Closer for leading the charge on this story and holding DJ Envy and Cesar Piña accountable. We have one final character that hasn't been introduced yet.
When am I getting my rent? What kind of property manager are you? It's not my fault, man.
The kind that has a sharp haircut all the time, I'll tell you that much.
Lucci is Cesar's brother, and he is crazy. How many times has your brother fired you? Every day.
Lucci is my favorite character in this story. Lucci is a member of...
Wait, these niggas had a reality show?
The team and should be included in depositions as well. Considering he's Cesar's brother, I wouldn't be surprised if he knew about the Ponzi scheme. This definitely does not look like someone involved in a criminal operation. He also looks like Hard Rock Nick's cousin. Lucci is the only property manager I know that gives his tenants cash money. At least he always keeps his relationships professional.
Listen, it's going down December 9th. Come check us out with my big bro Flippin' NJ and DJ MB. This is going to be our second seminar.
I've never seen a property manager hold so much cash and focus so much on his jewelry. And if there's anyone I want dealing with my money, it's a guy that definitely looks like this. Given how frequently he and his friends visit cash-heavy businesses, I'm very skeptical of where the rent money is going after being collected. He's also the first contractor in the history of real estate to visit a nail salon. It gets even better. Looking at Cesar, we know this is a family that likes to eat, but sometimes it's not just food being eaten.
You see how sexy I'm getting and slim putos? You know the diet? Eat a lot of pussy, right? A lot of pussy.
This is the guy Cesar hires for construction projects and to manage his alleged real estate empire. Remember, Envy and Cesar own $100 million worth of real estate, yet 30 or more victims haven't been paid a dollar. Maybe they mean they own their property in the metaverse. Thanks for watching.
All right. Jesus Christ. Oh, my God. 4 seasons. Thank you for the 5 0 act. Yo, skip all this and talk about Trigger, man. You haven't talked about him since me, him, and August beef. What the fuck? You and him were beefing? He said, by the way, I'm a huge fan of you. You're the go-to media. Thank you, brother. Young Kobe, thank you for the 5 0 act. I need your advice. I put a down payment on the Statue of Liberty through Envy. I'm here now. They don't believe me. What should I do? Oh, man. Somebody says, I found Envy had a $700K of IRS debt in, whoa, how the fuck you find all that? In 2018 and 2019. Gabe XYZ says, Drake played an unreleased Cardi song on OVO Radio, then Cardi announced he's pushing the album back till 2024. Do you think constantly delaying hurts him? No, it's Cardi. It's Cardi. People can always love him. Then what else? Pressa, thank you for the 10, is that New Zealand dollars? He says, need that tag team cage match, Envy and Cesar versus Tony the Closer and Tyrese. And AB Kirk, thank you for the 2. He says, only folks who can talk money are on CNBC, not BET. Okay. And PT Bullet Boy Gaming says, yo, never seen Facts face, but I'm ready to give him 150K. Holy. Y'all niggas is tripping, man. All right. 2SS Havoc, thank you for the 5. It says, yo, it's funny how Envy going through all this after he told Tyrese he wanted to box his mouth. Who knows? Tyrese probably secretly exposed him. All right. Let's just kind of go through this. This is the complaint, right? It was filed in the U.S. District Court. So it's the United States of America versus Cesar Humberto Piña, a.k.a. Flippin' NJ. And this is the special agent. This is the one that had the name that Myron was saying was like Indian, Pankaj Sharma. Being duly sworn, state the following is true and correct to the best of my knowledge. I further state blah, 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 blah. Okay, cool. All right. They're saying that from in or around 2017 through in and around May 23 in Passaic and Bergen counties and district blah, blah, the defendant knowingly and intentionally devised and intended to devise a scheme to artifice and defraud and to obtain money and property by means of materially false and fraudulent pretenses, representations and promises and blah, blah, blah. Okay. And caused to be transmitted by means of wire communications in interstate and foreign commerce. Certain writings, signs, signals, and blah, blah, sounds, Okay. All right. Pankaj Sharma, all right. Holy shit. There's a lot here. There is a lot here. Jesus Christ. All right, chat. I'm not even going to get into all of this type of stuff. Okay? They have a bunch of victims. Let's see where they do mention Envy at. By the way, real quick, because I gotta go open this door real quick. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. I just gotta open this door real quick. I'm gonna just play this while I open. Why my YouTube shit is acting up today? Somebody said, reach out to Grant Cardone. He'll break this down for everybody. All right, hold on. By the way, this was Envy reacting. Just give me 1 second. I just got to open this door. Right? Okay. All right. So I'm going to skim through this just to point out where they allude to DJ Envy. Obviously, this flipping NJ nigga look like he guilty, bro. Let's be honest, right? Let's see where they kind of bring Envy's name in. He's not listed in this criminal complaint. Doesn't mean if he'll be charged in the future, but right now he's not listed. Okay, here we go. The defendant, relevant entities, and overview of the scheme. Okay, y'all can see it. He says, at all times relevant to this complaint, defendant Cesar Humberto, a.k.a. Flippin' NJ, resided in New Jersey and held himself out to be a real estate investor, developer, and flipper. Piña and his business partner, a well-known disc jockey and radio personality, Individual One, operated a company that conducted real estate seminars around the country. Together, they use Individuals One celebrity. This is an interesting word in this complaint. It says together. Together means you're doing it in cohesion. Together means you're both doing this. Together kind of seems like you're both in on it. I'm probably taking words a little bit too literal, but again, our only angle here is like, we know this Cesar nigga is like pretty much done deal. We want to know if Envy is going to get charged or if Envy is really a subject of this investigation or prosecution. Together, they used individual celebrity to promote various real estate enterprises that Piña controlled. During real estate seminars, private one-on-one sessions, advertisements, and public appearances, and otherwise, Piña represented that he was a highly successful real estate investor, owned thousands of properties in multiple states, and had business relationships with numerous celebrities. Through these efforts, Piña developed a significant following that included hundreds of thousands of social media followers. He owned or controlled numerous business entities and held real estate properties and or were used to open bank accounts that Piña used in furtherance of the charged offense. That included Warehouse LLC, a New Jersey limited liability company with blah, 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 blah. From Start to Flip LLC. Starting or at least around 2017, he began accepting investments from individuals for the alleged purchase, remodel, and sale of specific real estate projects in New Jersey. He entered into contracts with victims that specified, among other things, that the purpose of the investment promised interest payments and the time frame for repayment. But rather than using the victim's investments as promised, he engaged in a Ponzi-like scheme where he commingled victims' investor money and new victims' investments to pay off prior investors and cover personal expenditures. These is what we're probably going to figure out later on. Through the scheme, Piña defrauded dozens of victims of millions of dollars. Examples of the manner and means of Piña's scheme are described below. Okay. All right. I don't know if envy is referenced again. You know what's interesting here, chat? And this tells me that at least at this time, or maybe there's a technicality with it. Remember I said like they're probably going to try to approach Envy to cooperate. Envy is listed as an individual, just like how Dirk is listed as an individual in the O-Block indictment. But him being listed as an individual doesn't mean that he can't be potentially charged later, right? What's interesting in this is that Envy is listed as an individual and not as a victim. You see, there's victim one. Remember, Envy said he's out of 500,000, which would have made him a victim, right? Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm trying to see. All right. They're gonna call Envy individual. Let me see if his name is mentioned any time again. I don't think he's mentioned again. Yeah, he's not mentioned again. All right. We will see what happens. I think we've done enough commentary on this. I want to pray for all the victims. And if DJ Envy truly is a victim, I pray for him too. If he did do something wrong, I hope he atones for his sins. And I hope he tries to help the if he's really, truly, ignorant or he didn't know what was going on, I hope he uses his voice to speak up for the other people who don't have a voice. All right. We'll see what happens. Okay. John Reyes, thank you for the 5. He said, man, DJ Scamvy finna box all y'all in y'all mouth. Stop playing, bro. Young Kobe, thank you for the 5. He said, bro, DJ Envy graduated from Hampton University with a degree in business management. Are you saying that DJ Envy got played and he got a financial degree? Come on. All right, so you're saying you don't believe it, right? 2SS Havoc, I think I read this already. Okay, cool. Perfect. All right, let's move on to some other stuff that's going on currently, which is, I think we finally got the Meg, about it. PT Bullet Boy gave me, thank you for the 5. It says, is it a possibility that they, Envy and Piña, made a deal that they'll run the play, but if things go south, Piña Colada takes all the heat? Interesting. Well, if they made that agreement, if that agreement is null and void if Envy took money. So if the feds could find out that Envy profited by deposits or whatever, or said that to him, he's going to be fucked. So, you know what I mean? Fuck your agreement. If you were involved, you're involved. So I don't know how much that agreement would really matter at this point. Okay, cool. What else is going on, chat? What else